I just played Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and it had a cool jet. That's it.
Almost clear, Gator.
Alright, let's get this out of the way early. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare had one genuinely good thing going for it, and that's flying around in a SCAR fighter jet. Like, seriously, these sections were fun. Not good for Call of Duty game, but genuinely actually good. Piloting the SCAR felt smooth, responsive, and just enough to feel fun. The visuals were sick, explosions popping off around you, lasers cutting across space, enemies spiraling into debris, and honestly, it made me feel like the ace pilot I've always wanted to be. And that's no small feat considering flying a spaceship isn't exactly the first thing that comes to mind when someone says Call of Duty. It was good enough, in fact, that it reminded me of Star Wars Squadrons, a game that is literally built around nothing but starfighter combat. And yeah, sure, Squadrons came out 4 years later and the controls were more intricate and designed entirely around dogfighting, but just the fact that I could make the comparison says something. Like, imagine if Infinity Ward had realized what they had and just said, let's make a spin-off where we scrap the shooting bits and just made Space Fighter Simulator 2077. I mean, Ubisoft did exactly that, and they took the sailing mechanics from Assassin's Creed 3, thought, this is awesome, and turned it into Black Flag, one of the best pirate games ever made. Meanwhile, the rest of the game, well, it existed, and it wasn't awful. It was just sort of hollow. Infinite Warfare was peak Michael Bay with flashy set pieces, huge explosions, characters dropping lines you instantly forget, and action sequences that probably cost more than a small country's GDP. And don't get me wrong, some of it was pretty cool to look at. There were moments where I caught myself going, whoa, that was sick, or dang, okay, I see you. But they didn't stick. Nothing landed because there wasn't any weight behind any of it. It was just a big flashy thing followed by another big flashy thing, and yeah, that could be fun in small doses, but when the credits rolled, I found myself sitting there thinking, did any of that actually matter? It was spectacle without stakes, action without attachment. Entertaining, sure, but ultimately empty. I'm being hard on this game, so let me take a quick pause here to highlight something else I genuinely enjoyed. The guns. Specifically the EBR 800 with the fusion mag. Let me break down why this thing rocked so hard. The EBR 800 is the sleek, energy-based rifle that you can use semi-auto, pop accurate shots, pick off targets at a distance, you know, classic marksman stuff, but then it also lets you switch modes on the fly and suddenly you've got an assault rifle spraying energy rounds everywhere. And with the fusion mag attachment, you can just let it passively recharge ammo while you're not firing, or if you switch to your sidearm, which is faster than reloading. It was so cool. It let me adapt my playstyle on a whim, and it meant I'm basically never rummaging around desperately hunting ammo packs. I just back off for a few seconds, recharge, and bada boom. It fit perfectly with the rhythm I like in shooters. Oh, and shout out to the Eraser 2. That little vaporizing death pistol? Yeah, it's exactly as satisfying as it sounds. Honestly, the weapon design here had some real thought behind it. If the rest of the campaign showed that same level of attention, we might have had something special here. But instead, we just got a cool jet and a couple of great guns, and unfortunately that's kinda where the good stuff ends. Let's talk about the characters. Specifically, let's talk about how Infinite Warfare really wanted me to feel something about them, and yet here I am, feeling nothing at all. Ethan is the obvious place to start. He's your robot buddy, the charming AI sidekick who's supposed to anchor your emotional experience. And look, I didn't hate Ethan. He's funny, and maybe even charming. But he's no BT. Titanfall 2's BT earned my trust over time through quiet conversations, gameplay interactions, and those small moments that actually build friendships. Ethan, he just showed up and started cracking jokes. He's the friend of a friend at a party who's cool enough, but you're not texting him to hang out later. The game kept insisting we were close, but I never felt it. Then there's Salt. Salt at least had actual dialogue and a handful of meaningful interactions. By default, she's probably the character I felt closest to, but even then, the emotional attachment wasn't exactly deep. It was more like, oh hey, we've had a couple conversations, so I guess we're cool. And speaking of forced emotional connections, Omar. He starts off as the guy you're clearly meant to dislike. He's abrasive, difficult, openly skeptical of Ethan, but then out of nowhere, the game decides, hey, pair Omar with Ethan, make them best friends, problem solved. And that's literally all they did. No genuine character development, no meaningful arc, just a snap of the fingers and suddenly they're buddies and you're supposed to care, but it just feels lazy. Finally, there's Mac, who exists to repeatedly smack you over the head with the game's thematic hammer. She lectures you about sacrifice and responsibility and leadership every chance she gets. But because the game never really backs this up by letting you actually experience these emotional stakes, it just comes off as preachy instead of profound. And I'm not saying I need Baldur's Gate's 60 plus hours of deep character work, but if your game's big emotional moments hinge on me caring about these people, well, maybe let me feel like they're worth caring about? Speaking of Mac, let's dive into the game's theme: sacrifice. Infinite Warfare really wanted this to be profound and meaningful, but here's the problem. It never shows you this, it just tells you, over and over. Mac literally spells out the idea multiple times. Being a captain means making tough choices. It means sending people to die. It means sacrificing others for the greater good. And you know what? Fine, that's a fair point. But repeating the idea to me out loud doesn't suddenly make it emotionally impactful. It just makes it feel hollow, especially when the only time we see this through the main character is a massive 180 before the last mission. Titanfall 2 had a far simpler story. You're stranded on an abandoned planet, get home. But it worked because the game itself was built around your relationship with BT. Your bond with BT was earned over time through gameplay, so when sacrifice became part of the story, it mattered. In Infinite Warfare, I barely felt connected to Ethan or Salt, and I certainly wasn't connected enough to feel anything when Mac or the story itself demanded sacrifice. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't nuanced, it wasn't meaningful. It was just there. Oh, and just for the record, the entire story allegedly takes place over like 24 hours or 30 hours maximum, which is completely absurd given everything that happens. Like, they expect you to care about this character change that happens in, 2 hours? And I'm just rambling off script now. But okay, one more thing off script. Did you know Titanfall 2 came out literally a week before Infinite Warfare? I think that's why it makes it so hard for me to compare these two games, or rather, it makes it hard for me not to compare them, because like, are you kidding me? A week earlier and everything about it is better? Okay, back to the script. But first, I stream a short game every Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time, and on Fridays I upload a video like this one, part review, part retrospective, part overthinking. I would super appreciate a like, a comment, or even a subscription if you want. I may be a small-time YouTuber, but I still spend 30 or more hours a week working on content, and I don't know how to end this segment. Here's the kicker. I bought Infinite Warfare on sale for $20, and honestly, I feel like I overpaid. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't actively hate the game, I just don't think it's worth $20. Maybe 15, 10 would be better. But if you think about games like Slay the Princess or Titanfall 2, games that regularly go on sale for even less than this, it's hard to justify spending $20 for a campaign this shallow. I'm not touching multiplayer or zombies or whatever else this has to offer here. This was just about the campaign. And if you're not playing this explicitly for content like I did, I struggle to see why you'd pick this up at all. And look, let's just level for a second. I know that on paper, Infinite Warfare wasn't really built for someone like me. I'm not deep into Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 is literally the only game in the series I've ever really played, although I did 100% it. And while I might still play the Black Ops 1 campaign at some point, I'm probably not going to go much deeper. So yeah, maybe I'm not the target audience here. But at the same time, if anyone was primed to at least enjoy Infinite Warfare, it was probably me. I'm a sucker for space battles. I love being the ace pilot. I love the futuristic military vibe. This game had all the right ingredients to hook me, and in some ways it kinda did. Again, the Scar fighter jet sequences were good. The EBR-800 rifle with its multiple modes and rechargeable ammo, loved it. But everything else around these moments just never clicked. And that's the real shame here. Infinite Warfare isn't a terrible game. It's just shallow. It's a popcorn movie disguised as a game, Loud, flashy, fun for a couple hours, but ultimately leaving you with nothing remarkable. 7 years after playing Titanfall 2 for the first time, I'm still thinking about BT. I just finished Infinite Warfare about 3 days ago now, and honestly, I've already forgotten most of these characters' names. I'm not mad I played it, but if someone asked me in a year, "Hey, what did you think of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare?" my response would probably just be, "This game had a cool jet. That's it." Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, I would appreciate it. If not, still thanks for watching to the end.
Saturn, I miss you. I'm never going down without your love and my review. I'll be back around for you soon. So send your grace, 'cause I'll need every bit of luck I could ever take. Don't go to waste, 'cause